This is exactly how you can use YouTube to build more trust, book more calls, and close more deals for your online coaching business. And to prove that this actually works, just look at the results from my clients here, because for every single client that we have implemented YouTube into, have seen an increase in their close rate, and they're building up so much more trust. And if you haven't been living under a rock for the past few months, you probably know that it's harder than ever to sell something online. And it's because the all-time trust is at an all-time low. So posting on YouTube is key, and anyone out there should be doing it. And this is all possible without a huge following, posting multiple times per week, or going insanely viral. And in this video I'm going to break down these 4 steps here, and the goal is that after you have been watching this, you should know exactly what to post to build an audience of buyers. So let's start with positioning an audience here, because if you don't understand this, everything else is going to become impossible. You need to know who to target. And more specifically, let's start with your ICP and dream follower. So for those who don't know, ICP stands for Ideal Client Profile. It's basically your buyer, the person who buys your offer, your current clients, the perfect fit person. So it's a very small audience. Then we have your dream follower here, which is your ideal audience. It's much larger, and I like to see this as your following on Instagram. It's the people that like your stuff, that can relate to you. And if you look at the picture here, you can see the difference. So dream follower is much bigger here. Then you have your ideal client profile, which is super small. And the thing is, you always want to target the dream follower in your videos, because within your dream follower there is going to be people from your ideal client profile there, people that are actually buying your offer. And there are 2 mistakes people usually make: either that you're speaking only to their ICP, like too niche down, or that you're speaking too broadly to everyone. And the goal is to attract the dream follower, to turn them into customers by, for example, using YouTube to nurture them and to build up more trust, so they actually become a customer or a client. And you should know exactly who you want to attract and what problem you solve. And if you don't understand this, you have something to work on. And here are 2 examples here on how this should look like when it comes to a YouTube video. So this is my client Sam here. This is a good example. So if you look at the actual header here, so he says the exact system to lose 10 to 20 kilos of fat in 90 days while working full-time using the SG method. And the reason to why this is so good is because you have a clear outcome, and his coaching program is 90 days. So it's good to set a time frame. You always want to do that when it comes to these type of videos here, when it comes to transformations, client wins, or whatever you're showcasing. Always set time frames, because that's what people buy into. And then while working full-time, because Sam's dream follower is the busy professionals, the busy 95ers. So that's the reason to why he added that in the end, while working full-time, to make sure that he's actually attracting his dream follower. And it's also a great way to attract more people with money, because those usually have more money to invest. So that is a good example. Then we had this example here, which I don't really like, even if it got tons of views. And it's because it's too wide. It's literally targeting everyone. It says how I would train if I had to start over step by step. These can target people that are 13 years old, that have just started going to the gym, but it can also target people that are 60 years old. So it can target literally anyone out there. And that's not what you want. You want to make sure that your videos are targeting the right people. And now moving on to the content funnel here, because you need to understand how everything should work together. So let's start with the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel framework here. And you're probably seeing this for short form content. Everyone online is constantly talking about that, but not many people are talking about how to use that for your long form YouTube videos, because that's really important as well. So top of funnel, for you, or for those who don't know, is basically there to grab new attention, to get people coming into your funnel. It's videos that are going viral, getting more views. And here is just an example of a good top of funnel video that my client Connor did here. So he said, why investing into yourself is the key to building your dream physique, 20,000 transformation. And this is like really attracting like a huge audience. This is something that can easily go viral, and this is his most viral video on his YouTube channel. But it's not just there to like go viral, but it's also there to shift the belief when it comes to investing into yourself. Then we have middle of funnel, which is there to nurture your audience, and it's usually the typical educational content. And this is exactly what my client Sam used here. So the exact breakdown of the nutrition plan that helped me go from 60 to 90 kilos, the SG method here. So that's a good example of a middle of funnel video. They are still getting pretty decent views, but they're more like educating, really targeting the dream follower. You're also showcasing proof in it to build more trust. And then lastly, we have bottom of funnel here, which is purely there to convert your audience. And these can, for example, be client interviews, client breakdown videos, etc. And here is just a great example of what my corner again did. So what we always like tell our clients to do is client interviews, and of course we give the frameworks for it and everything, because those are, I would say, the best bottom of funnel videos you can post on both YouTube and on Instagram, because they build up so much more trust. They are super authentic, they are super real, you can't fake anything, and people just love to see that one-on-one human connection. And that's exactly what you had to post. So what Connor did here was that he interviewed one of his clients and like asked him questions about his coaching and how it actually helped him transform his life, etc. So that's exactly what you want to do as well. But it's super important that you understand this framework here, because it's going to be really hard to post if you don't understand it. So top of funnel is usually vlogs, more general videos, and viral formats. So videos that are getting more views in most cases. And then we have middle of funnel here, which is more problem solving, more specific targeting. So you're targeting more of the dream follower here. And this is purely there to nurture and build up more trust. And then we have bottom of funnel content here, which is full guides and more proof content. And when I say proof content, that is basically videos about your clients, client interviews, client breakdowns. And here's exactly why this works. So you turn cold viewers into buyers with top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel content. And then it keeps people inside your ecosystem and continuously move them closer to becoming a buyer, because the goal is that you want to make it so hard for a viewer to like leave your ecosystem. Like you want your client to see you everywhere, and you just want them to keep watching your videos, because if they do that, they are 100% going to buy from you at some point. So that's exactly why this works so well, because you're really nurturing and you're really like turning someone from a cold like viewer into a really hot lead. And this is exactly how this entire funnel should look like behind your YouTube. So first of all, you post a top of funnel or a middle of funnel video here, and that's like the video most people are going to watch. And in this video, like in the description of it, you always want it to be structured like this. So at the top, you should always tell people to, of course, book a one-on-one meeting with you, or that can also lead people to, for example, a landing page funnel, whatever. But that should always be the first link. Then what you want to do is linking another YouTube video in here. And what I did was that I linked a client interview with my client Sam, as I talked about before in this video. But you can also target, like add or link another video in here. It can be, for example, a breakdown video talking about a specific problem, etc. But you always want to make sure that you have another YouTube video linked here. So let's say that you posted a top of funnel video. Then I recommend you to have a middle of funnel link there. If you posted a middle of funnel video, I recommend you to have a bottom of funnel video linked there, like a client interview, because YouTube wants people to stay on the platform for as long as possible. So YouTube loves it as a platform, and this is also something that's really going to make people warmer and warmer. And then the last link should always be your Instagram, so people can reach out to you there if they have any questions. And then also some hashtags like that. That is not something you need, but I still do it. So as I said before, from this description here, if you posted a top of funnel video, you wanna have a middle of funnel video linked here. And then from these videos here, what you want to do is link a bottom of funnel video in the description, like this. So it goes from top of funnel, middle of funnel to bottom of funnel here. Then from here they become a booked call, since they are so warm and they just want to work with you. So this is exactly how this works. So people go from top of funnel, middle of funnel to bottom of funnel. They become a lead, they go on sales calls, and then they become a client of yours. So that's basically how the content funnel behind YouTube actually looks like. And this is how you can use YouTube to close even more deals, because that's what you should purely use YouTube for, or that's the goal with YouTube. That's why you should post there, because it's the best platform to like remove objections, shift beliefs, etc. And this is exactly how you can build more trust and remove objections. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because you probably don't want to sit on a sales call with people that are throwing objections in your face every single second. I've had clients that have gone on sales calls without getting any objections just because they implemented this YouTube strategy. That's how powerful it actually is. So what you want to do is posting proof and belief shifting content to handle objections, remove limiting beliefs, and build trust. And to understand their objections and beliefs, we use a feedback form and record all the sales call. And if you don't know what a feedback form is, if you have been watching my other videos, you probably know that by this point. But a feedback form is something that you have included inside your onboarding. And in that feedback form, you should ask questions such as, why did you decide to work with me instead of someone else? How long did it take for you to decide to start working with me? What was your biggest hesitation before joining, like their objection? What was the biggest bottleneck holding you back before joining? What finally pushed you to book a call, etc.? And the reason to why you want to ask these type of questions is because here's where you get your best data. Because from this form, you will know exactly what their biggest objections were, what people like about you. Because then in your videos, you can create content handling those objections. And then based on the things that people liked about you, you can just do more of that because it's a proven concept. And then what we always do for our clients is that once they have been sending this out to their old clients that they're working with at the moment, and to their new clients, is that once I got all the answers or response from these people, is that we create these content ideas document here with video ideas for every single answer that people put it in here. And that's exactly how you want it to be. And then also the sales call here, because from the sales call, that's where people really open up. That's where you get to know their biggest objections, what they have been trying in their past, what is holding them back, all those kind of things. So I really want you to record all your sales calls. Insanely important. If you're not doing that at the moment, what are you even doing? It's firstly the best way to improve your sales skills. But after you have been recording a video with, let's say, Loom or Phantom, what you can do is just go to ChatGPT or Claude and like ask it, what was the person's biggest objections, biggest limiting beliefs, and biggest struggles. Then what ChatGPT or Claude is going to do is then writing down all those objections, struggles, etc. for you. And then you can just create content around that, because that's where you get the best content ideas from. And that's the type of videos you want to post on YouTube. That's the ideas that you want to share, because that's how you scale to the bigger months. And not just the sales calls, but you can also use the DMs. So if you are someone who's handling DMs, or if you have a DM setter, let's say that you have a DM setter, you always want to tell the DM setter to write down all these kind of things and then share that to you, because that's where the best content ideas lives. So make sure that you use the feedback form, record your sales calls, and really study your DMs, or tell your setter to study your DMs for you. And I want to show you this above here, because this is exactly what Connor did here. So from his feedback form, most people had money objection. They were scared to invest money. That's exactly why I created this video here, breaking that belief. Then he had client interviews, because people said that they love those. People really bought into that. That's what people really enjoyed. So he created more of these, because that's what made people pay him thousands. And then he also created this video here, like a breakdown video of his unique method, because that's what people wanted as well. So these are all videos here that we got because we studied his audience. We understand exactly what they actually want, what they lack at the moment. And if you don't understand your audience, it's going to be really hard. So I would say this is the most important step of all of the things that I've been walking you through in this video so far. Because this is what's going to allow you to scale to the bigger numbers, that 20, 50, or even 100K months, by simply understanding your audience better. And then as a bonus here, I want to walk you through exactly how the YouTube content process should look like, to really make sure that you're saving as much time as possible, but also that you're making the most out of it. So the first step here is research. Because I would say, like, the recording and editing part, that is just a very small part of it. The research, ideation, etc. is much more important here when it comes to YouTube. So Do your research, look at your audience problems, struggles, beliefs, and objections, then create videos around them. To make that easier, look at your feedback forms, objections people raise on sales calls, and problems they mention in the DMs, as I just talked about before. An example of this is that if a lot of people in your DM say that they are struggling with nutrition, create a video that addresses and solves that specific problem. That's exactly what my clients do. So always understand their biggest objections, limiting beliefs, etc. Create videos around that. Then we have ideate here. Take what you have learned from your research here and turn each problem, struggle, belief, or objection into a video idea. Keep each video focused on one clear problem or topic. And here we have another example. If you found that your audience struggle with nutrition, turn that insight into a video like the exact breakdown of the nutrition plan that helped you go from 60 to 90 kilos. So that's how you want the ideating process to look like. And personally, what I recommend, or what I like to do, because I feel like this is much easier, is to always sit down with a pen and paper, write down, like first of all, you write down all the things from the research, all the different objections, limiting beliefs, etc. Then you sit there with a pen and paper and like ideate. You can brainstorm ideas and come up with different content ideas, because I believe it's much easier to do that with a pen and paper, but we are all different. Then what I always do, and this is what we give our clients as well, is that we I put all the information into this planner here. It's Instagram here, but I had the same for YouTube, and in that that's where we script our videos and really plan them out and also ideate. So the ideation process and the research process is really, really important. Then we have script and plan. So when it comes to YouTube videos, you can do them in so many different ways. You can, for example, do a raw head talking video without any script, without any points or anything, just talk based on what you have in your mind. You can do scripted videos where you have like an entire script for the entire video. You can do a micro video, as I'm doing right now here. You can do like walk people through a Google presentation. So there's like so many different ways you can do this in. But when it comes to this, and before you choose what to actually do, always like ask yourself what format for this video would work the best, then go with that. Let's say that you're going to talk about something that you have realized lately. Probably a raw video would work the best. And then let's say that you have a breakdown video, as I'm doing right now. A micro video or a Google presentation works really good for that. Or if you're going to, for example, tell a story, a scripted video could work really good for that. So structure scripts to keep the viewer engaged while delivering real value and building trust. Start with a strong hook, explain the problem, provide the solution, and add proof, and finish with a clear CTA. This is how you want your educational videos to be structured. You always want to have some kind of CTA in it. You can have it by the end of the video, you can have it at the end of it, you can have it 2 times, and start with a strong hook, because that's what makes people watch the entire video. Explain the problem, provide a solution, and add proof of clients or yourself, so people actually have a reason. And that's exactly why I used proof, like the first thing I did in this video, so that you would actually have a reason to listen to me. Because if I wouldn't show that, you wouldn't know if this shit actually worked. So really important that you're following this, and that you really pick the right kind of way that you're going to shoot your video when you're planning it out. Then we have the recording process here. So it is super important that you're just being yourself. Stay authentic when you turn on the camera, because that's how people buy into you. And this is something that I struggled with for a very long period of time. Whenever I turned on the camera, I acted like another person. I was never myself. And that's why no one really bought into me, because it wasn't authentic. It wasn't a real personal brand. So make sure that you are staying authentic, that you're just being yourself, showing your personality. And don't try to act like someone else. Be unique. Let your personality come through and make your content feel like you. Really important. And then the last step here is thumbnails and header, because before you post a video, you need these 2 things here. And I would say this is also one of the most important things, because if your header and thumbnail suck, no one is ever going to click on your actual video. So you want to make sure that you're creating something that people actually want to click on, something that makes people curious. So look at videos on YouTube that has been going viral or has been getting more views than average, and then recreate the thumbnail and the title in your unique style. So let's say that I'm going to do this. What I always do is that I go to YouTube look at videos that has been going really viral. I go to the creator, then see how much views that they are usually getting. And if I see that that specific video got so much more views than the other ones, it means that it's a proven format, it's a proven thumbnail, it's a proven header. Then what I always do is that I put all those headers and thumbnails into a Notion document, as you can see here, with thumbnails and headers. And this is something, like, I just do it to make it easier for myself, because if I would like try to remember all of this, it would be super hard. So that's why I always put it all into this kind of document. So whenever I'm going to post a video, I always go in here and look at the viral thumbnails and viral headers. Then for the video that I'm about to post, I use one of these ones right here. I take inspiration from them, but I create my own. Don't copy people, be yourself, because that's how you build a strong personal brand, by standing out. So steal like an artist, and what I mean by that is that you shouldn't just steal like that. Don't just copy paste. Like, you look at the thumbnail or the header, you take inspiration and do it in your own way. That's how you grow an audience on YouTube. So I hope this was clear, like the whole content process here. And if you have any questions about this, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked below this video. And if you want us to help you scale your online coaching business using YouTube or whatever, you can book a call below this video as well. But if you're not interested, still hope you got some great value from this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.